Hello, I'm the Irish guy, and right, so Premier League Game Week 24 predictions. The last 2 weeks, I've been on such a dreadful, horrible run of form. Have you seen my forfeits? Eating toothpaste sandwiches, rubbing dog food in my face, dunking orange juice over myself in a tree, water balloons chucked at my head, and repeated milk baths. This is all in the last 2 weeks. What has happened to my strong run of good predictions? Please tell me I'm going to return to form this week. I mean, if I don't get at least one correct scoreline right, then I will do an entire video sitting in a bin filled with coffee. Right, let's go. Man City 3, Everton 1. Yes. I'm predicting an Everton defeat. Do you know what that means? That means that I'm going to have another milky shower. This is the first time this season where I'm just resigned to having hair that stinks of stale Cocoa Pops next week. Look, to be fair, Everton did survive the Etihad with a point the last time they went there. Back when they had a mouldy, beleaguered Frank Lampard at the wheel. Someone who's currently in the frame to take over the Chelsea women's job. Yeah, Joey Barta once slagged him off for bringing out a book. I can only imagine what he'll say about Lamps on his podcast now. Just probably comparing him to the creepy coach up Bennett like Beckham. But I'm sorry, I want Everton to hold themselves out of the relegation zone because I'm getting very sick of the milk. I'm getting really sick of trying to explain to my landlord why he needs to breathe into his hand when inspecting his property. I've lost count of how many weeks I've had to dunk milk over my head. But yeah, I still think Man City will easily win this match 3-1. Erling Haaland back in the groove with a hat-trick versus some sloppy consolation goal from old City boy Jack Harrison. Fulham 1, Bournemouth 3. Lads, when I think of Fulham's dead period of being in the championship for many years, I think back to March 2015 when they let little old Bournemouth run riot at Craven Cottage, smashing them 5-1 on their own patch, just a few months after they'd finally been relegated from the Prem. I'm not sure why that result has stuck in my head so much. Probably because it was less than 5 years after Fulham had competed in the Europa League final against world-class players like Diego Forlan, Sergio Aguero, and David De Gea. To see them now getting roasted like a marshmallow by tiny little Bournemouth, letting Matt Ritchie eat you like porridge. I suppose it is bit like running into that popular guy from school who's since gone broke and is now squatting in a bush beating up children for their lunch. Yeah, his diet is now probably just mostly dead rats and stolen petty falloos. But lads, Fulham have not actually enjoyed a home win over Bournemouth since 1992. Their record against the Cherries is pretty horrible. Just one win in the last 13 meetings. So again, I'm gonna go for another Bournemouth win. I am so confident in Andoni Iraola. He's going to absolutely cook Marco Silva for lunch. I'll go with a 3-1 win. Goals from Dominic Solanke, Luis Sinisterra, and young French star Romain Favre. An easy 3-1 win. And to prove it, if Bournemouth don't beat Fulham this weekend, then I will pour 3 bowls of Cocoa Pops on my head. Liverpool 3, Burnley 0. Liverpool are going to grill Burnley like a steak. I'm sorry, but Vincent Kompany has virtually zero chance of getting anything from Anfield. No way, absolutely not. I know Sean Dyche was able to grind out results at this ground. 2 draws and a win with Burnley, but Kompany, Clarets are now far too open to possibly frustrate the Reds. They're going to play right into Klopp's hands, and it's going to be an incredibly easy win. Diogo Jota with 2 and Dominic Solanke with 1. Sorry, Burnley, but there is literally zero chance of a win. And you know what? I know there's no jeopardy with this result. I know Burnley are definitely not getting a result. So here's the thing. If Burnley win or draw this weekend, then I will pour an entire box of red paint over my head. And to go even further, for every goal that Burnley do score against Liverpool, I will poke toast in my eye. Am I really doing this? Klopp has only ever overseen 1 clean sheet against Burnley at home. What am I doing? Luton Town 2, Sheffield United 1. I am probably the only non-Everton fan in the world who wants Luton Town taking their place in the relegation zone. I know I am. Everybody who doesn't support the Toffees wants them buried. Nobody wants tiny little Luton to go down, right? Sure, okay, I like rooting for the underdog too, but I'm also sick of people scouting at me on the bus whilst I stink of a dead cow. So why am I tipping Luton to win again? This will mean that they'll go 4 points ahead of Everton. Oh, great. Well, lads, I'm tipping Luton to win because I'm not insane. They've just scored a combined 8 goals against Newcastle and Brighton, 2 clubs who played European football this season. Luton have 10 more points than Sheffield United. They've already won at Bramall Lane. Lads, the Blades haven't won at Luton's ground since a mental 6-3 win here in 1994. So yeah, this will be a tight, scrappy game, but sure. Brent Brereton Diaz will cause nerves at the ground by striking first, but then goals from Alfie Doughty and Jordan Clark. A 2-1 win and an important win. Oh, lads, when Sheffield United lose this match, Chris Wilder is going to feel like he's just been invited to his own club's funeral. If the Blades don't win this match, they're done. Tottenham 3, Brighton 2. Look, Roberto De Zerbi versus Ange Postecoglou on paper is a mouth-watering, inviting game of football, right? I mean, the previous meeting produced 6 goals. This is going to be another goal fest. I know it is. There are 7 matches on Saturday, right? If Tottenham versus Brighton is not in the first 3 games shown on Match of the Day, then I will eat a sausage roll off the wheel of a random bicycle. This will be an absolute ding-dong of a match. Both teams going for it, an incredibly open game. Goals from Richarlison, James Maddison, Evan Ferguson, and Ansu Fati. And you know what? I reckon it'll be something wacky like Brian Gill with the winner. You know, the small Spanish winger who is locked in talks with Brighton over a loan deal 2 weeks ago. Yeah. After he turned down the Seagulls, clearly deciding that he's above a switch to the beach, can you imagine how sick the travelling fans will feel when seeing him wheeling away in celebration after scoring a last-minute winner? There's rubbing it in, and there's that. Wolves 3, Brentford 0. Look, you all know that I think Gary O'Neill is some wet vegetable of a manager, some overhyped English coach who's gonna grow up to manage Stoke before he's 45. But Wolves are scoring goals right now. Since Christmas, they've scored 4 against Brentford, 3 against Everton, 3 against Manchester United, and 4 against Chelsea. Lads, for the last few years, Wolves have been a frustrating, low-scoring team in front of goal. Ever since they sold Jota and Jimenez had his skull cracked like a chocolate Easter egg, they have looked so sluggish in front of goal. But over the last month, what's going on? It's almost like watching Brazil. What has happened? I mean, had all the players been given cow steroids for their Christmas lunch? Since mid-December, they've looked so threatening in front of goal, and Brentford are in such terrible form. They've lost 7 over the last 8 league games. And I mean, Neil Maupay seems like he's finally snapped like a twig, having a full-on Joker meltdown. I don't even think he cares that he's in a relegation battle. He's just trying to make defenders cry. I mean, copying James Maddison's dart celebrations was one thing, but then apparently slagging off Kyle Walker's kids, and he's even had a dig at Aubameyang on the internet this week. Just what? Why has he decided to morph into the French Frankie Boyle? He's just on a mission to roast defenders with his words. Yeah, this weekend he probably will bully Max Kilman by telling him he looks like a Hufflepuff. Yeah, I didn't say Maupay's insults were good, but yeah, still, Wolves would run riot. Mateus Cunha, Pedro Neto, and Hanky Chan with the goals. Nottingham Forest 0, Newcastle 2. Look, I know that Nottingham Forest violated Newcastle at St James's Park with a Chris Wood, yes, Chris Wood hat-trick. Did that really happen? I mean, did it? Did we not all just drink too much Christmas tea? It does feel like something that was some weird, queasy post-Christmas dream. I mean, was I food poisoned? Do I have to Google the match to see if that actually happened? Oh, yes. Yes, it did. So now, it wasn't just a hallucination brought on by that poisoned cheese baguette I had on Christmas morning. I think Newcastle are going to have revenge. How can you not tip them to win? They've just left Villa Park with all 3 points. If you can win there, you can win virtually anywhere. Nobody had won there since last February. Well, besides Villa, of course. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. Callum Wilson and Harvey Barnes. Solid 2 win. And if the opposite happens, and if Nottingham Forest win, then I will chuck a bucket of popcorn over my head. West Ham 1, Arsenal 1. Look, Arsenal have been dealt the Declan Rice curse. Since they prized them out of West Ham's cold dead hands for £100 million in the summer, the Gunners have lost to the Hammers twice by an aggregate score of 5-1. Arsenal have not beaten West Ham since December 2022. This reminds me of when David Moyes used to regularly give Arsenal headaches back when he was at Everton. You know, when Mikel Arteta was in his team, Arteta should know Moyes' game plan inside and out, and yet he's just forgotten how to beat him. Again, I know Arsenal just got a massive win over Liverpool, but I don't think they'll lose here. No, but it will be drop points. Arsenal will nick an early lead through Bukayo Saka, try to control the game, but no. Mohamed Kudus will drop some sparkling, jaw-dropping ability to snatch a sensational equalizer. Aston Villa 2, Man United 3. Manchester United have not won both Premier League games against Aston Villa in the same season since 2021. Man United have done the Premier League double over Aston Villa just twice since 2014. And one of those was when Villa finished bottom of the league and yet only lost 1-0 twice. But this time, I think this is going to be weird. In that Manchester United are going to beat Aston Villa 3-2 twice, both times having come from 2-0 down. Wow. I mean, that crazy game over Christmas wasn't even the first time that I've seen Villa bottle a 2-goal lead against this club. I mean, Man United came from 2-0 down to win at Villa Park in November 2012 when Chicharito backed the winner. It's going to be similar behavior. Villa are in a vulnerable spot right now. People aren't talking about it much, but I think the pressure of being in the title race rocked the club a little. Since winning 2-1 at Brentford on the 17th of December, they have been sloppy. 2 wins in the last 6 league games, scraping a 97th minute draw at home to Sheffield United, throwing away a 2-0 lead at Old Trafford to lose. They needed an 89th minute penalty to beat Burnley at home, failing to score at Everton, imploding at home to Newcastle, and worst of all, losing 3-1 at home to a poor Chelsea in the FA Cup. I don't care that they ripped the Blades 5-0 apart last week. There's something not quite right about Aston Villa right now. That easy win over Sheffield was the first convincing Aston Villa display since they beat Arsenal 2 months ago. And yeah, John McGinn and Ollie Watkins will fire them 2-0 ahead, but then they'll just buckle under the nerves in the second half. Goals from Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, and a Villa own goal. I'm gonna say Clement Longley. Yeah, 3-2. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 4. Look, Crystal Palace right now are toxic. The team are in a dreadful form. 4 wins in 17 matches. The fans want Roy Hodgson and Steve Parish out. Yes, things aren't great at Chelsea, no, but Palace are a car crash. And I reckon Chelsea are going to absolutely destroy Palace. I mean, lads, Palace's record against Chelsea is laughable. One of the most pathetic records anyone has ever had against another Premier League team over the last 5 years. If anybody actually truly believes Chelsea are losing this one, then you haven't been paying attention. Chelsea have beaten Palace 13 13 times in a row since March 2018. 13 straight wins in just under 6 years. That is dreadful. I remember bottom club winless Crystal Palace pulling off a shock win over Chelsea in 2017, a month after Hodgson took the job. That was a huge, massive, important victory against the odds. This was just weeks after Frank de Boer was fired, without his team having scored a single goal. And yet, Palace haven't taken a point off Chelsea since. So yeah, I'm sorry, but an easy 4-0 win. Further on by the confidence of that FA Cup win at Villa Park. Then yeah, Conor Gallagher, Cole Palmer with 2, and Noni Madueke 4. And to prove it, okay, Rory Jennings likes to rant about Pochettino. There's going to be radio silence after this match. To prove it, if Rory Jennings releases a rant video about Pochettino within 5 hours of this match, I will do an entire minute confessing my love for Rory. That'd be really weird. Anyway, that's the video. Let me know. What are your predictions? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, as always. I'll talk to you in a while.